It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Dumelang bumapimpa pa pom ti pom pom. It's baby talk time on your feel-good breakfast show. Guess what we're talking
That's
about
what a
today?
sleep-deprived man does.
Sleep deprivation. Not an ideal holiday destination on some island somewhere,
No.
but a very, very common complaint that parents have, especially the parents with newborns. Now, wondering when you can reasonably expect your baby to sleep through the night, or what the most common sleep problems to expect are? Well, on today's Baby Talk, occupational therapist Meg Faure joins us and helps us figure out how to make sure that your baby is comfortable enough to sleep through the night. Yes, Meg, you've come at the ideal time. He woke up 4 times last night.
You know what? I'm just glad I made it through because I'm an example that there is life after raising a baby. It's great. But listen, if you've got any questions around sleep deprivation or how to make your baby sleep, if you've got any concerns, call us 021 430 9881. Meg, thank you very much. I'm glad we're tackling this topic, especially for Kat's sake here, because you know he's been impossible to deal with lately. So many parents complain about being sleep deprived. Where are we going wrong? Are we going wrong, or is this just something that I think we need to be taking on board as parents, that we're going to be sleep deprived?
Yeah, I think there are 2 main things where we go wrong. The one is our expectations. So somehow there's a little rumor out there that babies can sleep through at 6 weeks. And that's torturous for parents because that isn't the reality. No. It isn't true. And so we have expectations of our babies to be sleeping through maybe earlier than they should be. So that's the first issue. But the second issue is that we often create habits with our babies. And so what ends up happening is that the way that we put them down at night is not what we expect in the middle of the night. So for instance, we're happy to rock them, feed them, or lie with them to sleep at 6 in the evening, but we don't want them to expect the same at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And so creating habits and expectations for our babies actually is really where we're going wrong.
Okay, so when can parents actually reasonably expect for babies to start sleeping through the night so that we don't, create these unrealistic expectations?
Yeah, for sure. So at about 4 months, babies start to have a longer stretch at night.
Yeah.
Some of them as long as 6 to even 10 hours at night before they need a feed. But that still usually means a night feed at about 2 o'clock in the morning. So most 4-month-olds are still waking up. But at 6 months olds, once little ones are on full solids, if they're healthy, if you've taught them good sleep hygiene, like good bedtimes and bath time routine, you can expect your baby to sleep through the night.
6 months.
There's also
6
something
months.
called sleep regression. Once your baby gets into a routine, he sleeps, and then there's an emotional, psychological development change, and then it goes back. But why is my baby not sleeping anymore? It's coming, bro. It's coming.
Don't.
What
that over my life.
are some of the most common, I think, sleep problems or complaints that parents have with regards to newborns?
Okay, so newborns, they'll often complain about day-night reversal. So that's when the little one is waking up more often at night than in the day. So they have these long stretches of 6 hours in the day, and then they wake up too early at night.
Yeah.
So that's a very common one. And that comes about because when you're pregnant, as you roll over at night and that sort of thing, your baby gets lulled into sleep and then gets woken up. So they actually develop kind of better sleep in the day when you're moving and you're lulling them rather than at night. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's why newborns often wake up more at night. And it actually requires a little bit of work from parents to feed them more regularly during the day and actually wake them up from those long sleeps in the day, and then let them sleep at night, keeping it very, very calm, particularly during nappy change at night.
I just remember back in the day when my boys were youngsters, there was this almost like an idea, it's like, you do not wake a sleeping baby. If it's in the day or in the night, don't wake it. I was like, but he's not going to sleep at night, man.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's good, I like
So
that.
Yeah. Okay, so babies are fickle things. No 2 babies like the same thing.
And they don't have a manual.
Some of them like to be carried this way, some of them that way, and this way, some of them this way. So how do you make sure that your baby is comfortable enough to get a good night's rest?
Yeah, so nighttime comfort is very important. If your baby's not comfortable, they're going to wake up at night. So the 2 main things there, the one is make sure that they're well fed during the day and meet their nutritional needs. But also, nappies are very important. So what ends up happening is that babies wake up at night because they're uncomfortable, because it's wet around their bottoms. So you want to get them the most premium nappy that you can get. I personally do like Pampers, but really you want to spend as much money as you can, essentially, on a really good nappy, because that will help wick the moisture away from their skin. They won't develop nappy rashes then, and they definitely will sleep better at night as well.
Even if you keep those specific nappies only for nighttime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very important at night that your baby's extremely comfortable.
It's up there, yeah?
Yeah, I was just thinking now, when it comes to changing nappies and stuff, like this morning, before I came to work, I changed him. Old nappy out, okay, and then I put a new one in. And then he just had like a little... So it wasn't like full on. Do you have to change it at that point? I did, but I mean, is it necessary? Because I'm thinking, like, when you break it down to like $20 a nappy.
How would you feel if you go, you know, you wouldn't be comfortable.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a premium nappy, so it's supposed to be soaking up like a lot. So if he goes.
So if it's a tiny little bit of urine, these nappies are so amazing, they will wick the moisture away. But
I don't think
if it
urine
isn't a poo, which can...
Okay, no. That's why I went. Not. It's a different. Yeah. Okay.
No,
So if
for
it's a
poo,
little bit.
But if it's a little bit of a poo, you are going to have to change because that can actually burn the little bumps. So you want to make sure that you do change those. But for wet nappies, you can leave it for a little
Yeah,
bit.
we don't play with the poo.
Never.
We don't play with the poo.
Listen, call us 021 430 9881. That's 021 430 9881. We'd love to connect with you if you have any questions with regards to getting your toddler to sleep. Maybe you need some advice. Meg is here. We're going to have another segment with her a little bit later on.
Pampers, wishing you love, sleep and play.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're tuning into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Express right here on SABC3. Such a happy tune, eh?
I love it.
Such a happy tune. It is Baby Talk on your Feel Good Breakfast Show this morning. We're talking about sleeping and sleeping issues, how to get your toddler to sleep, advice. We need tips. That's what we're getting you this morning. We have Meg Faure joining us once again this morning. Thank you very much, Meg. I love this segment. I really do.
And we got a caller coming in, of course, on 021 430 9881. I believe it's Oliga. Ulrika.
Hello.
Lekker. Thank you for the call, Ulrika. What's your question?
Good morning. That little tune is very deceiving. So I have a 3-year-old toddler, and we have been co-sleeping on and off since the beginning of his life. And I'm just wondering whether co-sleeping is a bad habit, and at which point we should really be stopping this.
Thank you very much, Ulrika. Because I mean, I think also co-sleeping is a bit of a comfort for the mom and dad. It's nice to be able to be close to your little one, but at the end of the day, you do want them to be independent. So, Meg, what's your take on that?
So right off the bat, we have to say that co-sleeping is incredibly personal because you have some people who have a family home situation where they can only co-sleep. So they've got a one-bedroom flat, they've got, you know, baby has to be in bed with them, and that's absolutely fine. You've got some people who choose right up front that they don't want their baby, never mind in their bed, but not even in their room, from birth in their own room, and that's also fine. So it's very important to state that. The second main consideration with co-sleeping is that it needs to be done safely if your baby's under a year of age. So Ulrika's little one's over 1, so that's fine. We don't have to worry about that. But if your baby is under the age of 1, make sure it's done safely, that they're in a space that is their own, that your duvet can't cover them, and that you haven't been drinking alcohol or taking drugs because the risk of smothering your baby is there.
It's real, yeah.
With a 3-year-old, you don't have that risk because he's going to fight you off if you have to roll over onto him. And then it becomes very personal. So for Ulrika, let's say her husband isn't at home with her and she gets comfort from having the bubba in her bed with her, go for it. If everyone's getting good night's sleep, go for it. However, if your husband's there and you've got conflict around whether or not the child is going to be in your bed, then 3 years old is a good age to move them. Make them a lovely sleep space in their own room if they've got their own room, and you can move them across quite easily.
I think at this stage also, like you said, is very personal, and that's what I have in my relationship. As long as it doesn't affect on the relationship itself, co-sleeping for us is a way to actually get some good quality sleep in at this stage as well. But let's talk about those day sleeps. How important is it for a toddler to have those day naps? How do you go about it, and how long should those naps be? Because we touched on it a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, so toddler naps are quite interesting because at some point between 2 and 5 years old, your toddler will drop that day nap altogether.
Yeah.
At 1 year of age, babies generally go from 2 day sleeps, so one at about 9 in the morning and one at 1 in the afternoon, through to 1 day sleep. And that day sleep actually is very important. Now, even if your baby's wanting to drop that day sleep at, like, let's say 2.5, 3 years old, or maybe as old as your little ones are, I still say that they should have a rest time.
Absolutely.
So they need to go to their room after school or after play group at 12 o'clock till 2 o'clock or 12 till 1, where they can just have some downtime.
That's exactly what we do with my 3-year-old, because if we don't, at 5 o'clock, he's sitting on the couch, he'd be passed out. And he sleeps for an hour, then it's impossible to get him to sleep at night.
I just wish these toddlers would realize maybe there would be like some kind of logical way of explaining just how nice naps are.
Yes.
They don't
you
appreciate
are
it
at
the way we do.
age where you can take naps and there's no consequence. Do it, bro.
I would give anything for a nap.
Phoenix, just do it. Okay, Brayton's on the line. Good morning, Brayton.
Brayton, what's up?
Hi, good morning, good. How are you guys?
Very well, Brayton. Thanks for the call. What's your question?
So the question that I want to ask you guys is, I have a niece. she's 4 years old, and she has sinus, so at night she struggles to sleep. So is there any advice that what can I do to help her at least?
Okay.
Thanks very much, Brayton. Okay.
For sure. So first of all, if this is ongoing sinus issues at 4 years old, we need to get to the bottom of it. So that would be a visit to an allergist or to your pediatrician to ascertain what's actually going on. Because if you've got ongoing sinus, it's likely to be allergies of some sort, either environmental or potentially also some food allergies, but more likely environmental allergies. We need to get to the bottom of that. But in the moment, a couple of things. You can put a humidifier on in the room so that the nasal passages are a little bit more moist. You can use a saline spray, and we always recommend those for little ones. Even from birth, you can use it if they've got stuffy noses, but it mustn't have any medical preparation in it. It's just
pure
salt water,
saline.
just saline spray.
Salt water.
Yeah.
Simple
So
as that.
it's just simple as
All right,
that.
but I think a visit to the allergist, as you said, Meg, if it is an ongoing problem, especially persistent over a couple of years. All right, so back to the day naps. Is there a time where toddlers should completely, we can leave the day naps now, we're good, we're fully functioning adults?
Yeah, so,
Adults.
You know?
so your indication that your baby needs to drop a day nap is a couple of things. First of all, they start fighting bedtime. So for instance, in Ewan's case, his 3-year-old becomes a 3.5, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and is fighting bedtime and wanting to go to sleep at 9 o'clock at night. Probably an indication to pull that day nap back a bit. So if it was an hour and a half, pull it back to an hour, or maybe even just half an hour, quick cat nap. So that would be the one thing. And also if they're waking up in the middle of the night and awake for like an hour in the middle of the night, or waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning for the day, which unfortunately toddlers sometimes do, those 3 things are indications that you need to start dropping that day's sleep. And it usually happens, it's quite variable, but usually from about 3.5 years onwards, you could do that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Meg. Now, just a quick mention, the baby show is happening at the Kyalami International Convention Centre. There still tickets available for the hashtag meetup with Meg?
Yes, absolutely. So the meetup is on the Saturday. It actually is already pretty much fully subscribed. We are releasing a few more tickets today that were ring-fenced for bloggers, and we're now moving them across to the public. So if you want your tickets, you do need to get them today. The actual event itself, the baby show, we've got capacity for 20,000 people to move through. And the event is going to be amazing. I mean, dads can test drive Porsches, I think.
Yes.
You can, on the circuit.
On the track.
You've got a shop and drop facility where whatever you buy, you can then pop into shop and drop and drive your car into the pits, dads, and collect everything. So it really is going to be an awesome day out. Yeah.
I need to shop for a new car seat, so...
There we
Oh,
go.
my goodness. All right, so if you want more information, do visit babyshow.co.za and also connect with him on social media at The Baby Show SA. Meg, thank you very, very much. Always appreciated. Excellent stuff.
From the first moment, everything that touches your baby should be this comforting. That's why Pampers, the #1 choice of pediatricians, brings you premium care, now lined with our softest comfort and best skin protection. So every touch is as comforting as the first. Pampers, wishing you love, sleep and play.